Break the board sports. It's your boy RJ Cash. Click that like, hit subscribe. Net worth college basketball on a Friday. Let's hop into slate, go and break down a couple games. We got 24th ranked St. Louis playing phenomenal basketball this year. They're going to roll into St. Bonaventure today. Now, this is an early start. Got a bunch of games during the day, too. Kind of odd here, but St. Louis at St. Bonaventure. Click that like, hit subscribe. St. Louis 73% ticket count, 86% of the handle is laying 8.5 on the road at St. Bonaventure, 27% ticket count, 14% of the handle on the comeback with the Bonnies. Now, your total in this is 157.5, 56% of the ticket count, 33% of the handle going to the over, 44% ticket count, 67% of the handle going to the under. St. Louis comes in 18-1 on the year. The Bonnies of St. Bonaventure come in 12-7. Now, look, this line opened up 8.5. It has stayed there. Now, typically, St. Louis, ninth best scoring offense in the country. They're averaging 91.2 points per game, but that drops dramatically when they're on the road. They drop down to 79.6, so they lose about 12 points per game going on the road. So 79.6 points per game is to where St. Bonaventure at home is averaging 80 points a game. On the road, St. Louis giving up 70.2, St. Bonaventure giving up 69.9. So pretty even there. So it'll be really a test of, can St. Louis impose their will on the road, and can St. Bonaventure stay consistent as to what they do on the road? Now, again, St. Louis, they've reeled off 10 in a row. 4-1 their last 5 on the road, 4-2 ATS their last 6 overall. But against St. Bonaventure, they're 4-1 the last 5 and 4-1 ATS in that same time frame. They've played to the under when these two teams play at St. Bonaventure, the under 6 of the last 7. Now, St. Bonaventure, on the flip side, 9 of their last 10 have went over the total. They're just 1-5 straight up their last 6 games, 1-4 ATS their last 5. Against Atlantic 10 opponents, St. Bonaventure has struggled. They're just 1-6 straight up in that time frame. On a Friday, though, when they're at home on Friday, 6-1 ATS here for the Bonnies. Again, St. Louis comes in 18-1, St. Bonaventure 12-7. St. Louis, what's been amazing about them, they're a perfect 4-0 on the road. So hard to win on the road in college hoops. St. Bonaventure 8-2 at home. Now, these two teams played once last year in St. Louis, a game St. Louis won 73-68. Again, St. Louis has taken the last 4 meetings and 7 of the last 10. I lean St. Bonaventure here. Again, the St. Louis team you get, even though they're 4-0 on the road, dropping down 12 points per game. 8.5 is a lot to lay in a conference game. St. Bonnies aren't bad. I like St. Bonaventure here, plus 8.5 to hang in there. Indiana on the road at Rutgers. Indiana, a 7-point favored. 147.5 is the total. 57% ticket count, 8% of the handle. Going to that over 147.5. 43% ticket count, 92% of the handle going to the under. Now, as far as the side goes, 66% of the ticket count, equaling 74% of the money, is on the Hoosiers, laying 7 on the road. 34% ticket count, 26% of the handle here, going to Rutgers in this matchup. Now, this one opened up 6.5, got up to 7. Indiana comes in 12-7 on the year, as to where Rutgers 9-10 on the season. Now, Indiana typically averaging 81.1 points per game. That drops to 73.3 points per game on the road. Rutgers averaging 72.3. So a point better for Indiana in the offensive column. Now, defensively, Indiana giving up 75.8 points per game. Rutgers only giving up 70.1 points per game. So slight edge to Rutgers there. Now, Indiana, they've really struggled as of late. They're 1-4 over their last 5, 4-8 ATS over their last 12. Month of January has not been good to them. Their last 9 games in January, they are 2-7 straight up. The under has been the way to go with Indiana when they're in conference play here in the Big Ten. When playing Big Ten opponents, 13 of the last 18 have went under the total. Indiana has also played to the under 8 of their last 9 on the road. Now, Rutgers, they've gotten the better of Indiana. Rutgers at home has covered 5 straight against the Hoosiers. And in the last 9 matchups, Rutgers is 7-2 straight up and 7-2 ATS. On top of that, Rutgers 5-1 ATS over their last 6, and they're 4-1 straight up their last 5 at home overall against Big Ten opponents. 4-1 against the spread. Now, again, all that's ATS. From a straight up standpoint, Rutgers has struggled a ton. 5-10 straight up their last 15. And in the role of the underdog, they're just 3-12 straight up. But you got a team 5-1 ATS their last 6, and they're 4. They've covered 5 straight against Indiana at home. On top of that, 4-1 both straight up in ATS against Indiana, and you're catching 7. The lean here would be Rutgers or pass here for this game. Again, click that like, hit subscribe. Gonna hop into 3 more here. Akron laying 9.5 on the road in the MAC against Ohio. Now, Akron comes in 15-4. Again, another great surprise. Some really good teams in the MAC. You look at what Miami of Ohio is doing. Akron's a solid team. This is a conference. I hope they get at least 2 bids in. Ohio comes in 11-9. Now, the Cats, they've also been very good here in conference play. When you look at Akron, typically 93 points per game, but again, they drop down to 82.7 points per game when they're on the road, as to where Ohio averaging 82.6. So dead even pretty much on the offensive side. Defensively on the road, Akron giving up 72.2 points per game. Ohio giving up 63. So again, this is a dead heat from a statistic standpoint, yet Akron's laying 9.5. Akron is on a 5-game win streak. ATS, they are 5-1 their last 6 on the road. But overall, against the spread, the Zips of Akron, they're just 2-4 over their last 6. On the road at Ohio has been even worse. Akron is just 1-4 against the spread their last 5 trips there to Ohio. But against MAC teams, straight up, Akron 13-1. Now, Ohio, they're 10-3 over their last 13, 7-1 straight up their last 8 at home. And again, against Akron, 5-1 ATS their last 6 times they've welcomed the Zips. Now, Ohio against the MAC as a whole has really struggled from an against the spread standpoint. They're just 2-9 ATS over their last 11. With that being said, again, I still like the home dog here, getting the 9.5. Ohio State, next game on the board. Ohio State going to Michigan. Rivalry renewed here. Michigan is down to 15.5. Now, this opens 16.5. It's gotten bet down. Ticket count and bets, 50-50 as far as ticket count and handle, rather. That's pretty much even. Now, your total, 163.5, 55% of tickets, 56% of the handle going over, 45% of tickets, 44% of the handle going to the under on this one. So there's a little bit of discrepancies there as far as that goes. When you dive into this game and into the handicap of it, Ohio State comes in 13-5, Michigan 17-1. They've been playing extremely good basketball. Now, again, Ohio State, they drop about 8 points per game on the road. They're averaging 75.6, as to where Michigan averaging 97.2 points per game at home. They got the 9th best scoring offense in the country at home. Ohio State giving up 73 points per game. Michigan giving up 67.8 points per game here. Ohio State, they're 13-5 over their last 18, but Michigan has gotten the better of Ohio State. Michigan 4-1 both straight up in ATS against the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes just 3-7 ATS their last 10 on the road. And against the Big Ten Conference, Ohio State struggled as a whole. Over their last 15 games, Ohio State is just 4-10-1 ATS the last 15 versus the Big Ten. That's not going to get it done. Michigan 17-1 overall, 8-1 their last 9 at home. They are 10-1 straight up their last 11 against the Big Ten. But there's 2 key stats here. Michigan is 0-5 ATS their last 5 games. And when they're in the role of the favorite, they're just 1-5 ATS. A lot of that gets attributed to you're laying these huge, colossal numbers that's just really hard to cover when you get some of these that the size that they are. Listen, I'm not going to step in front of Michigan at home. I would have liked it better when it was 16.5. 14.5, I'm going to pass. If for some reason there's a big run on it and it gets back to 16.5, I would take a run, but I don't think you're going to see that big of a swing. but I really do like St. Bonaventure today, plus 8.5. That's going to be an official play for me. If you want all of our plays, breaktheboardsports.com, promo code NFL50, all caps, get you half off your first month. Whether you guys fade or follow, I hope you win your bets. God bless and happy handicapping.